For those people who doubted Black Clover, for those people who said it was nothing more than a rip-off, this is where you get hype. Because it don't get much hyper than this chapter. And I honestly want to say this in the best Frankie impression I can, but it was super hyped. Okay, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews. We're talking about Black Clover chapter 97, and for the longest of time people have been cheating on it. And I don't know why, because it's a story in itself, and it's just mind-boggling how people haven't jumped on the hype train. As you know, with me, I've enjoyed it from day one. I've got so excited about it. I've been reviewing it for at least a year now, and it's paid us back in spades. And this is one of those times where you can't help but just sit back and go, yeah, Black Clover, baby. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, if you ever wanted a moment that was priceless, full of humor, full of laughter, and one moment that you just couldn't help but wait to get animated in the anime. There was this moment when Asta is unconscious and then he sees his shadow and he's like, what the hell are you? That was just amazingly funny. He's like, what? What the hell are you doing here? Am I dead? That was just priceless. He got told that this is the closest thing to him in terms of a person. But he was defiant. He goes, you are not taking over my body. I don't give up. That is my way. And he takes control of that thing and wields it. And it's all over the sword. And the black meteor at the end. What a chapter. And that is pretty much the hype. Let's get the hype out of the way, because it was a brilliant chapter. Now, with that being said, let's get into some analysis. So there's a few things. This presence, this demon type of thing, is anti-magic. It's in the sword, as far as I understand it, which makes you think it's a demon sword with a demon anti-magic to kill demons. So you think to yourself, if it's a type of demon, it's looking for a body. Have we seen that anywhere before? And the answer, in my opinion, is yes. And this is where you've seen it before. Those people with the third eyes, that's basically a little bit of this person, of this being, of this deity, of this demon. That's a little bit of that, of him or something similar to him. Here's why. The whole time he's talking about bodies and, oh, let me take over consciousness. If you look back at Fana, when Fana lost the eye, she's like, hey, what's going on? Where am I? I have no memories of what's going on. This leads me to believe that this demon type of presence or this demon type of ability, if it is the same one, it basically takes over your consciousness, which leads me to believe that either they're dead, banished, or in an in-between world. So not necessarily completely gone, kind of like purgatory, I guess, is where I think they are. Kind of like Seven Deadly Sins, but we'll not get into that. Anyway, so then moving past that, we see that he's got some control over it, and we find a bit of an explanation to why it's overflowing now. And it's basically because the sword itself always has flowing anti-magic. So basically the whole time with him controlling it with the sword, he was unconsciously turning it on and turning it off when he needed to use the weapon. With that being said, the queen's blood, so bearing in mind blood is important, is the breaking of the seal. Remember last week I said it's going to either be an enchantment or an unsealing. It basically unsealed a limit inside his body. How unprofessional I apologize. So let's get back to the point. It unsealed a limit in his body to allow him to have more of this mana type of thing. Because ultimately he's empty and he has no magic of his own, he's a perfect vessel to absorb anti-magic. And in my opinion, anti-magic is basically the fifth element. So if you think of the four elements, you've got earth, you've got water, you've got wind, and you've got fire, right? I think anti-magic is the fifth element. And the reason why I think that is because when he had the clover, he had 5 clovers. The 5th clover is the black clover. Now, the important thing about the witch is the witch said she was disappointed in him because, in a sense, in a manner of speaking, because she thought she was related to that person. I think the blood that she's got, either she's inherited or she's taken from this person. And the way I think this is about is it more than likely was some type of superior being, human, super magician, demon, hybrid, or something of that nature. And essentially, he was either like quasi-immortal, quasi-god-ish, and she thought he inherited her power. That's why he can use anti-magic. But apparently he's a glitch, and essentially he's a mutation of biology, and that's why he's an empty vessel. But then he goes and does his thing with the black meteorite, and it's like, oh, heaven is a place on earth. Yes. It was amazing. I got so excited. So, here's a few things. The old woman knows about this person. She thinks he's a relative. Now she doesn't think as much. I think that's the secret of her immortality or long age. She's probably been around for a while, and she probably had his blood, like a blood transfusion of some kind. Now, in regards to the blood itself, now that it's in his body, he's practically now a relative of that guy, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, what other parallels are there that we can think about? If you think about the parallels that exist in many stories, ultimately I believe that this being more than likely was a demon or a demon slayer. Again, it probably links to the first emperor, and I think the first emperor's relative is Yuno. Yuno being the inheritor of his will, and Mr. Asta himself being the inheritor of this other person, and I'm assuming it was a demon king. Now, the reason why I think it's a demon king or a demon slayer is because I think this person used the power of anti-magic to deal with demons that disobeyed and put himself in a position of power. Maybe greed got to him, maybe something got to him or her, and essentially, poof, he got corrupted. That's what I think is possibly the case here. I wish I'm wrong. I wish there's a completely different person who has anti-magic, the fifth element. I hope that's the case. There had to have been somebody for him to have, Asta to have this old grimoire that is inherited or, you know, has an affinity for. So ultimately, hype chapter, amazing chapter. This is the best chapter for me that came out today. I don't really read Haikyuu. I really want to because I'm behind on that. I'm sure that's amazing too. I'm sure Shoma's amazing too. But for me, for the three that I read today, which was One Piece, My Hero Academia and Black Clover, hands down best chapter of the three. And that's me being a One Piece fan. That's me being a My Hero Academia fan. But thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed this review. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you would give me a like, I'd greatly appreciate that, because that will boost up my video in the rankings, and hopefully more people can see this, get on the hype train that is Black Clover, and we can get talking about it. Anyway, without further ado, thank you very much for your time. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Peace.